Okay, so I just got done watching the UFC. For the most part, it was pretty good. I would go um, and say that the prelims were better than the main. In my opinion, there was more action, and normally that's kind of how it goes. In the main event, you might get one or two fights where they go after it. Um, DC Rumble was a great fight up until now. I called that Cormier was going to get stopped in the second round. That's what I thought was going to happen. I thought that Rumble might have adjusted from the last fight and worked on his wrestling. He's a wrestler, you know. I mean, obviously not um, to the level of Daniel Cormier, but he's big. He's got power. He's strong. I think that was his game plan, maybe to try and wear Cormier out. But anyway, I'm not talking about that. And then for him to retire, man, what the hell? He's one of my favorite fighters, Rumble Johnson, because he goes. The only problem with Rumble is if you get him down, he it's it looks like he gives up. I hate to say that, man, but it kind of you know if you get him down and you put a hold on him or what, it seems like he gives up. Um, but he was banging, man. He broke Cormier's nose. And the fight that I really wanted to see was Rumble Johnson and friggin' John Jones. You know, I, I kind of was hoping. I mean, I really like Daniel Cormier. I was kind of hoping that Rumble would win, and then I would open up a fight in July for John Jones Rumble. That would have been a great fight because I think Rumble Johnson can beat fucking John Jones. I think he's the only one that can, and I'm only saying that because stylistically, I think John Jones cannot deal with people who go forward, and that's why he uses those oblique kicks, and he keeps his fucking fingers in your fucking face to keep you away so he can throw those. And it keeps you away and it puts you right where he wants you to be. But Rumble Johnson, I think, would just be like, fuck you, and beat the shit out of him. I was hoping to see that fight. Um, and that's the only reason why I wanted Rumble to win. Because I don't think Daniel Cormier can beat John Jones. I think it's just a huge. He's at a disadvantage height wise, and I think he doesn't deal well with guys that are taller, that are that lanky. I mean, look at Gusterson. Gusterson. I know I'm probably not pronouncing that right, but he gave John Jones problems, and he gave Cormier problems. Um, but that's what I wanted to make this to talk about the Gegard Mousasi Chris Weidman fight, which was going really well. And there's a new rule with kneeing a downed opponent. Um, I'm gonna screw it up, but I before you could have one hand on the ground. As long as you had one hand on the ground, you couldn't get kneed. But now you need both hands on the ground. Well, Chris had both hands on the ground, and he lifted him up. Mousasi kneed him. He put his hands back down, and Mousasi picked him up and kneed him again. But it was it was so close, um, because when you watch it live, it looked as if the knee, the momentum of the knee, picked him up, which would have made it an illegal knee. But he definitely picked him up first and then kneed him. His hands came off the ground and then he kneed him. But the ref was behind Gegard Mousasi, and it appeared to him, as it appeared to everyone else live, that it was an illegal knee. So he stopped the fight. He stopped the fight and gave Chris Weidman 5 minutes to recover. Now, right when that happened, fucking, I love Joe Rogan, okay? I love Joe Rogan Experience. I love all that shit. But he fucked it up for Weidman. He fucked it up because he went crazy. He started screaming. He started screaming. That was a legal knee. That was illegal. He was screaming it. Now listen, when the fucking referee, he is the man in the ring. If he stops the fight, he stops the fight, and that's it. If he thinks that it was illegal and he's giving Chris Weidman 5 minutes to recover, that's his call. There's no fucking replay or whatever. Regardless if it was a bad call, it was a close call. From his vantage point, it was an illegal knee, and he was going to give Chris Weidman 5 minutes. So then you got fucking Joe Rogan screaming, that was a legal knee. And it wasn't until he kept on saying it and screaming, and then now the fucking commission's coming in. Now the doctors are coming in. And now then they fucking stop the fight. They stopped the fight. Which is bullshit. Which is fucking total bullshit. I mean, now they're probably saying, oh, well, the ref stopped the fight. We should have gave him the 5 fucking minutes and it continue. With Chris in the same position with his hands on the mat and Gagar with double underhooks. But they didn't do that. They fucking stopped the fight and called it a TKO. Oh my God. And my heart broke for Chris Weidman because I knew he needed that fight. And regardless, he may have... See, he has great recovery. Chris does. He may have still lost that fight if the ref saw that his hands came up and Gagar kneed him and let it continue. But Chris said he was fine and that he was even going to come up with an elbow, which I think was a bad idea, especially with double underhooks. But I'm not a fighter. But this is a red flag for all fighters in that position because of the rule changes with a downed opponent, kneeing a down opponent. I mean, you're gonna have to change up your fucking your thinking in there now with when you got both hands down, because now you get lifted up and then knee. So you're gonna see a lot more people either going to the knees, because you can't kick an opponent on when they're on their knees, and maybe or stop fucking drop and roll or I don't even know what it's called in wrestling when you shoot your hips out and you fall, whatever. The point is, if Joe Rogan wouldn't have fucking lost his shit and was screaming that it was a legal knee, which I think got the commission and the doctors were like, what? And then he got some dude who I guess is a ref or from the commission and asked him, what do you think? That's his job. But if he hadn't done that, I don't think those people in Buffalo, the commission, would have gotten nervous, because nobody was saying shit or really even reacting to it until Joe started freaking the fuck out. It's unfortunate. That's third loss for Chris Weidman, and he looked great. He looked better than I think he's looked. He was shredded. He looked great, man, and such a good dude, and I wanted to see him get another title shot. But anyway, that's me rambling, and that's my my assessment of tonight. That Joe Rogan fucked over Chris Weidman.